We all hate popping the ball up in slow pitch softball. In today's video, I'm gonna give you a ton of great tips to even out your swing, hit the ball harder, and make fewer pop-ups in games. And before we get going, I do wanna mention this is a sponsored video between myself and justbats.com. Check them out in the description below where you'll find links to all the bats shown in this video. All right, so if you wanna hit fewer pop-ups in slow pitch, this drill is gonna help. This is called the double T drill. So this is the ball I'm gonna hit, and this is my second tee, which is just gonna be here to give me feedback. So if I dip below and I hit this, I will feel it on the way to the softball. So I've got these almost exactly level. I could have this above this, and I can put this a little bit lower where I actually have to come down between to hit the center of the softball. That's fine too. You'll play with this and figure out where you want it. Now this crazy contraption is my GT with their 3 and 2 attachment. This is a really expensive attachment. This whole thing is like quite expensive. If you don't have this, that's totally fine. Either you can use 2 separate batting tees, or you could get a wooden dowel rod, just be really safe about it. You could find a way to like tape or create your own little contraption if you don't have access to something like this. Whatever works will work. Just make sure it's not really rigid and hard. It could damage your bat or could fly off and hurt you. But with 2 batting tees, this is a really easy feedback tool. So I've set this a little bit higher, and it's actually gonna be pretty tough. So I'm gonna have to really hit like basically the center of the ball and try to cut it. So let's see if I can do it. And if not, you'll see how the feedback mechanism works here. So that was pretty good. I don't think I hit this one. Now I'm gonna level these out. That way I can have just a slight amount of downhill or almost be flat through it and still get the result that I want, which is a line drive. Sounds pretty good. So now if I do it wrong, you'll see I dip, and this is gonna give me feedback without damaging my bat or hurting anything. Definitely made contact with that tee first. So the double T drill is a great way to iron out your swing plane. Second tip for hitting fewer pop-ups in slow pitch, don't track the ball in with your shoulders. And this is what I mean. Now, I'm not hitting off a pitched ball, and I mean this in games, obviously on pitched balls, but when this ball is coming down from the heavens, that big stupid arc, it's really easy sometimes to look up at it and let your shoulders tilt with the height of your eyes. Don't do that. You have to be really strict to use your eyes, but still try to keep your shoulders somewhat level, because if my eyes match the trajectory of the softball, now suddenly I'm gonna be here and my bat's gonna dip. This is something that I was struggling with during a season. I had to make this adjustment, and I basically just had to be really cognizant of, hey, you know, I can use my neck, but I don't wanna tilt my shoulders to match the arc of the softball. I need to let my eyes do the work and use my neck and keep my shoulders more level rather than dipping and dropping, because if you dip and drop, then your bat path is gonna go with it. So as you're tracking that ball in, make sure you really work to keep level shoulders through your swing. And then you'll see 4 different bats in this video. Number 1, this is a senior slow pitch bat. This is the DeMarini Twisted Mistress. This is the Combat Spec CR1, the Bradley Jones model. This is a USSSA bat, 1-piece composite. This is the new 2026 Axe Disturbance, the end-loaded model with the full axe handle. And this is a dual stamp. This is the Easton Salvo. This is a 13-inch barrel model, end-loaded composite. All right, next tip. So if you hit too many pop-ups in slow pitch, you have to think about what your top hand is doing as you come through the zone. And this is an indication of your overall swing mechanics. So if you have more of a baseball swing, as you come through, this top hand is gonna be more palm up, and that's what's gonna produce that slight uppercut that gets you on plane with a downhill baseball. That makes sense for baseball. It makes less sense for softball since the pitch is coming in at such a steep trajectory. So in softball, if you're trying to hit fewer pop-ups, you have to think about what your backhand is doing. So instead of being here, palm up, where my bat head dips, I'm thinking about being on top, like I'm chopping wood, almost like I'm knocking my knuckles on the tabletop. When we do it the wrong way, it'll look like this. Palm up, and the bat is following it, versus when I think getting on top, knocking with these knuckles on the way down. Now I'm flattening out, and instead of being here, I'm here, and that's gonna help me get more to the center of the softball rather than getting up underneath it and scooping those pop-ups. All right, tip number 2 for popping the ball up less in slow pitch is to work on your swing mechanics. I've been using this as the air swing bat to try to get out of my old baseball habits where my palm turns up, and instead to work on being more downhill and flat to the ball. So whatever your process is, this has been part of mine. With this bat, I can really feel the whip, and I can see the tail end of this, like the tip of it. It's kind of like a cattail. I can really see my bat path. And it helps me say, okay, I'm definitely not dipping beneath it, because when I do one the wrong way, it's very easy to see, A, where my shoulder goes, where my palm goes, and where this cattail at the end goes. So when you're thinking about how can I get fewer pop-ups in a game, part of it is just your swing plane in general. So you're looking to think about more downhill to counteract the amount of uppercut that you have in your swing. All right, next tip, if you're popping up a lot of balls in slow pitch, let's talk about pitch selection and pitch height. And this is a good representation of what I'm talking about. Especially if you have a little uppercut in your swing, you've got to be really careful about swinging at pitches that are basically like letters and up. With some dip in your back shoulder is going to result in a pop-up a lot of the time. Now, if you've got a more flat swing, you can still get to this ball and get through the center of it, or get on the, just on the bottom half to hit those backspin line drives, but you have to know yourself. So if you're a person that your back shoulder dips and you're here, you're gonna sky this pitch up into the air and it's gonna get caught a lot of the time. So you gotta be really disciplined depending on how your swing path looks, right? A lot of times we're gonna miss hit and pop that pitch up. But if my swing is flatter, then it's a lot easier for me to hit those line drives and get backspin while still being through the center of the softball. And then if you do have some uppercut in your swing, then you're gonna wanna look for lower pitches, because if I'm hitting a lower pitch like this one here, I can have a little more uppercut and still handle and get to the center of the softball. So with this location, that little bit of uppercut is gonna have much less drastic result. That's gonna be a double to the fence. One hopped it. And so this is gonna fit my swing plane a lot better. And then even really low pitches like this one, which are not something that a power hitter would choose, because power hitters are typically trying to just get under the ball, lift it and put it in the air. This ball is gonna be tougher to lift and get backspin in softball. But if I have more of a loopy uppercut swing and I haven't yet flattened and figured it out, this pitch can be really valuable, where if that's the pitch I'm looking for with my little bit of uppercut, this is gonna become a line drive a lot of the time. So pitch selection is really, really important. If you're popping a lot of balls up, you're probably starting to go for lots of these high ones, which when mixed with an uppercut swing does not lead to good results. All right, and this drill will help you hit fewer pop-ups in softball. So this is called the no squish drill. So let's talk about our back leg mechanics and what they're supposed to do to give you power and to help you get on top of the softball as it's coming in. So our back leg, we don't want it just to squish the bug and to be stuck here. When you watch the best hitters in the world, baseball and softball, when they stride and their back foot turns, it actually pivots over, basically onto their toe. And some hitters actually get a little bit off the ground where that toe will dance forward, maybe 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 inches. All right, so here's how you do this drill. So I'm gonna take a water bottle, I'm gonna cozy it up next to my foot. And basically if I just squish the bug and like sink on my back leg and stay in place, I'm gonna knock that over. So this is just gonna give us feedback. So I've widened my feet as if I'd already taken my stride, and then my back hip is gonna go boom, and it's just gonna gain a little bit of ground, and it's gonna pivot over in place the way the best hitters in the world do. And if I do that, then my water bottle is not gonna move, and that gives me good feedback that I've done it right. So once I've done a bunch like this to get the motion down, I can go back to my regular stance, and I can do the same thing. And then after that, I can go through my full swing, checking my back foot to see that I did it right. So as you can see, I have not knocked the bottle over. I'll show you what happens when I do it wrong. And I have a lot more weight sinking into my back leg. And when that happens, that makes me more likely to get underneath the ball and pop it up. I'm gonna take a couple hacks, full swing with the water bottle here. First, I'll do one wrong. So kick that over, and now we'll do a good one. So that is the no squish drill. It's just working on proper back leg mechanics so you can get more power into your softball swing. So here I've got my GT. This is at 53 inches. This is as high as it'll go. If I want to make this higher, or if you have a tee that's a lot shorter than this one, this is the highest tee on the market, you can always flip your bucket over and put your tee on the bucket. Super easy to do that. When I have a really high tee, if I have any amount of uppercut, I'm gonna start shooting balls way up into the air really, really fast. So the high tee drill, if your focus is on hitting line drives, is really gonna help you start to iron out any amount of dip, because any amount of dip with a high pitch like this, and I'm gonna quickly get under it. When I'm doing the high tee drill, I'm focused on middle or even like top half of the ball. I'd rather hit a sharp ground ball or line drive here rather than continuing to get underneath it. Because if I'm trying to get out of the habit of being beneath, I wanna think about being downhill even when I'm doing the high tee drill. So my focus is just top half of the ball or right through the center. So the high tee drill can definitely help you hit fewer pop-ups and slow pitch, but again, it depends on your focus. You have to focus. You can't just put it up high and then continue to uppercut and let that palm turn up. You've got to try to be downhill or flat to the center of the softball. All right, so thanks again for watching. Again, I want to thank my sponsor, justbats.com. Check out the description below for links to every bat in this video, including this awesome new axe disturbance. Popping the ball up in slow pitch softball, it sucks, can move the runners over. So obviously continue to work on your hitting mechanics, and your mindset and your plate discipline can pay dividends for years to come. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you here in the next video.